Well, it's been a good week. Earlier, we had to take a little time off so our guys could really focus in and finish strong in the classroom during final exams. We took advantage of the time to spend some more individual work and worked in groups of 4. I thought that was really good for us. We were able to break some things down defensively, and we'll find out today how much progress we've made. But it's been a productive week so far.
Every year it seems like this week, finals week, comes at a pretty decent time. Do you take this time to really evaluate where your team is after 8 games?
I think you do that every day anyway. But no, this was an important week for us, having 5 days in between games where we could be on the floor. As I mentioned, we've broken it up. We've done some team practices, but we've also done the individual workouts. As we've talked about in every session over the last couple weeks, heavy emphasis at the defensive end of the floor, trying to show improvement in guarding the basketball. Whereas with Evansville, they're not as much a one-on-one team, but their execution's really good in the half court, constant movement without the ball, really good screening actions. So a lot of things we'll have to be prepared for on Saturday. So we've had some extra time to spend getting our guys ready.
Is this the first team this season? I know some of the other offenses, but is this the first true motion offense that this Racer team will face?
It is. It's definitely a different style from what we faced in the previous 8 games. Not as much ball screen, not as much one-on-one play, but really, really efficient offense and movement without the ball. Jaylen Brown, he is spectacular. Really good guard. Was a good player for him last year, averaged around 11 a game, but he stepped into that DJ Ballantyne role of just score, getting 20 a night. Does a phenomenal job getting to the free throw line. Never seems to get tired, always moving without the ball. And then he's also very good when the play does break down, he can create baskets for them on his own.
When you look back at kind of what Jonathan Stark has done through your first 8 games, he's averaging over 22 points a game. What do you think?
Oh, I'm not surprised. I thought he was a really good player when we got him, but I knew the work he put in last year. Got to see him on a daily basis in practice, his production on a day-to-day basis, how he made the people around him better, and then he's really shooting the ball exceptionally well from 3. And I talked about it with Neil on Monday night. One of the things I think separates him is, most guys are more catch and shoot 3-point shooters. He can do that, but he also shoots it so well off the bounce from behind the arc, and I think that makes him a really difficult cover. But no, thrilled with his play, especially having sat out a year of game competition. I expect him just to keep getting better and better as we go along.
Have you seen teams start to game plan for him a lot more?
Well, I think so. I think you saw the last couple games some teams trapping him out of ball screens, running a second defender at him. And I think he's done a good job handling those and has made good decisions. Hadn't made any unforced errors. So that's the best thing about him, is that not only does he score, but he creates for others. Over 6 assists a game. I believe 5 assists, 1 turnover last game. So I think he does a good job getting our guys easy scoring opportunities as well.
Defensively, I've talked about this, and maybe you can elaborate. Do you feel like it's all the dribbled penetration? Is it post play? Is it a combination of the both? Where do you think the defense needs the most improvement?
For me, it's the dribble penetration and the ball screen defense. Not early in the possessions. I think our defense has been good the first 15, 18 seconds. I think where our breakdowns have come in ball screens have been later in the shot clock. And so I think it's just a matter of finishing the possessions. I've been very pleased with our improvement on the glass. We're really rebounding the ball well the last 3 games. Have that defensive rebounding percentage down around 25%. Whereas earlier in the year it was upper 30s. So I've made a lot of progress there. But I still think for us to take another step, we have to be more and more consistent at keeping the ball in front off the dribble. One-on-one isolations defense has to be much improved as we move forward.
Evansville had the Gideus McCavich's last year, 6'10" guy. They have a 7-footer this year. Have they replaced what he's been able to do for them in any way?
They haven't replaced his just dominant production. He was a double-double machine. They've had Willie Wiley, who was a junior last year. has really stepped up his production and has been a nice player. 9 points a game. He's been very efficient, almost 5 rebounds. But they don't have that same production, much the same way as we haven't replaced the production of Wayne Langston on the block and the skill level and ability to score down there. So, the two wings have really carried the load for him. And I call Brown a wing, Jaylen Brown. He's point guard who'll play off the ball as well. But between him and Ryan Taylor, the transfer from Ohio, they're averaging almost 35 points a game between the two of them. So they've really carried the load offensively.
Talking about this week, is this a type of scenario where you've gotten one start? Is this another start to the season? Because I feel like next week there's a lot coming now after Saturday.
It is. We've talked about that as a team. And we play 4 games in 8 days coming up here. Our guys finish up final exams today, and classes don't start for another 40 days. So really, these next 40 days, we have 11 games in that time period. We'll have extra practice time, extra time for individual work, and more time for film study. I think these 40 days here in between the semesters are critical, that we get better, not only defensively, but we're really big on stressing the player development year-round. It's not just a summer and fall thing. I want our guys getting better as the season goes on, so we'll continue to spend a lot of time doing that.
You've mentioned that you all have been spending a lot of time working on defense, and I know you primarily prefer to play man-to-man, but last year you used zone at times. Have you worked at all on zone defenses so far this year?
We've worked on it. We've played it some, and believe it or not, our efficiency numbers at the defensive end when we're playing zone are even worse than man-to-man. So we still have more work to do there, but our main focus right now is on the man-to-man. It's what we believe in. It's something that's always been a staple of our team and our program here, and we're going to get better at it. And our guys are working. I think they see the mistakes we're making, the corrections that need to be made. Obviously, they understand the importance of the defensive end of the floor if you want to be a championship caliber team.
Is there, and again, I know Detroit Mercy, that game is in the rearview mirror, but if you look at that game, have you used that film as a catalyst of like, here's what happens when you do this in the first half, and here's what happens when you do this in the second half, and just the reversal? Yeah,
we always study the film with the guys and break it down and go over the corrections while also showing the improvements that were made. And as I mentioned, as I look at that game, really the one area we've struggled with offensively is our ability to get to the free throw line. Well, I thought we were very aggressive. We got there 34 times Saturday night, which was huge for us, an area we have to continue to keep getting better. Our effort to the offensive glass was terrific. Breon had 4 offensive rebounds. We did a really good job creating some second opportunities for ourselves. And then defensively, we had some possessions of improved play. And we're staying out of the scrambles when we're not getting beat as much off the dribble. It puts us in better position to rebound defensively. And I think if you look at those last 3 games, there's been huge improvement made there. So, just like every game, we take the good and the bad and try to make the corrections, and while still emphasizing the good, so we can continue to get better in those areas. I've talked about turnovers, taking care of the ball. I really believe right now we're 13th in the country at taking care of the ball. We're only turning it over 15% of the time, but that has to continue to be an emphasis for us. Because we want to stay at the top of the leaderboard in that category. I think it's a very critical stat to our success.